an AMI digital exclusive.
I'm KR Liu. I'm on the board of directors of the Consumer Technology Association Foundation, and I'm a hearing loss advocate. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I'm a big technology fan. I have severe hearing loss. I've worn hearing aids my entire life, so I really advocated for life-changing technology when it comes to hearing, more accessible, more affordable, and something that everybody can get access to, because in the States it's very difficult for us to get access to hearing technology. We really want to change the stigma and the social stigma around having hearing loss.
Welcome to South by Southwest 2018. Yeah. Top themes at the 2018 event: more diversity and inclusion. Another top theme is the use of technology for social good.
What brought me here is a lot of the panelists that I was joined with today are colleagues, mentors, friends of mine, and we all share kind of crossovers in life paths, whether we have different abilities, LGBTQ community, and definitely on the issue of gender. We are all female executives in the tech industry, so that's been a challenge that we've faced here, but we're definitely being very vocal about how we can change that. Having a disability has not been easy, but speaking up about it and talking about how we can make a difference and how innovation can change based on the perception that we have living with a disability and how technology can help change that. The internet was co-founded by a man who's deaf. He created the internet and email so that he could communicate better, and all of us in this room can't live without email. And then the same thing with text messaging was originally created for the deaf and hard of hearing community, so that they could communicate through mobile when mobile first came out. So I think it's interesting that those ideas came from people who were living real life problems and ended up being solutions that everyone could use. For me, I'm a big advocate on educating people about what it's like to live with different abilities. We all know someone in our life that may have a hearing loss, eyesight issues, physical disabilities, but they're really not disabilities. They just make us unique, and I really believe that. We all can learn from each other. You know, I work every day to navigate this very inaccessible world, but I'm also hopeful to see that the community is really speaking up and using technology as a way to kind of raise that conversation and show how we can make a difference and change people's lives with technology. For me, that's a call to action, is these technology companies and these big companies can be a platform for our community, really give us a voice and show the difference that we can make, not only in the culture and the company, but in the product design and business development and how you talk about your brand, how you sell your product. We're very passionate people, so we can add a lot to your organization, so that's my call to action. I coordinated the panel that we had today. Lara, who is our moderator, I've known for over 10 years. She worked at the Apple Store when I worked at a company called Spec Products. And I saw her talking about our product in the store, and I walked up to her and said, "Hey, I want to give you a job." And she goes, "I really appreciate that, but I'm actually moving to Apple Corporate." And we've maintained a friendship over the years. And Francis West and I have been on a couple of panels in Washington, D.C. talking about technology's role and policy and how we can change that. And then Elise and I, both being hearing loss advocates and her being a civil rights, human rights attorney, both share a passion for how we can change policy to get people more access to technology for people with disabilities. That's how we all came together, and it was really a lot of fun. What's interesting is people look at me and I have a severe hearing loss. That's really difficult for me to adapt constantly. But I look around at even the younger generation wearing white earbuds in their ears at full blast at 8 hours a day, and I look at them and I go, in 10 years you will experience what I experience every day. And I feel for them because I've had my whole life to learn how to adapt, right? To figure out how to communicate in different situations. And there's a generation coming that's going to be facing that challenge and not know how to deal with it. And I go out of my way to educate people on what it's like. And I find myself in a position where I think I have a very unique ability. I mean, I spent 20 years in a very successful sales career because I can sit in a room, meet the person for the first time, and be able to read their body language immediately because I read lips, and be able to tell exactly where that person stands. So I use that as a superpower in a way, and I don't consider myself having a disability. I consider myself having an advantage. in a lot of situations. For companies, I think it's really important for them to reach out to the community. There's nonprofits, there's even Facebook, there's social media where you can learn about people like myself who are talking about how you can make your corporation and your culture more inclusive, more inviting. How do you learn about how to make your environment more safe, right? Making people feel like that they can go to work and feel safer there than they do at home, right? To be their true self, no matter who they are, and give them a really warm and inviting place. And I think that takes them, the company themselves, being vulnerable and open to learning different ways and different possibilities to make the office environment more friendly and more inviting, and easier for you to say who you are, where you come from, your background, your differences, and feel safe to do that. And I think that the challenge with especially differently abled people is they don't feel like they can self-identify, because a lot of disabilities are invisible. Most people who meet me have no idea I have a hearing loss until I sometimes tell them. So I think that allowing people to self-identify and feel safe to do that is really, really important, especially when it comes to the disability community. We want to feel like we can bring our whole self to work and really be who we are and not have to hide any of that. I think that's really important.
Visit ami.ca for more accessible media.